What's your French kissing like?
I do have quite a bad gag reflex. You can't get annulments for gay marriages. I inadvertently leaked my own nudes onto the internet. I am in trouble. Hello.
Hello.
Ooh, that's very we don't, do we do that? Nice signet ring. Is it?
What a signet ring, is it? If it's not on your little finger.
Mine says posh twat.
Right.
Self-deprecation. What's yours? Is it an Arc'teryx logo?
Mine's a...
Genuinely looks like an Arc'teryx logo.
It's a cowboy on a horse. I know it's a little...
I look at you and think, yeehaw, that's...
Do you look at me and think Arc'teryx? I don't have anything Arc'teryx. What can I get you, Max?
A lager beer, please, Jesse.
What do you want, Will? You've got a nice little faith.
Yeah, a little faith or a steady rolling man.
The Cadogan Arms, established 1838.
Have you been to Cadogan Arms before?
6:30. Yes, when I was 17 and trying to be cool on the King's Road.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This has got to be one of the most beautiful pubs.
A very classy pub, lovely wooden interiors. It's wonderful.
Great beers. I love the stained glass behind the bar, that's cool. And they also do a ham, egg and chips that honestly sets your world alight.
Right.
It's so good. You know, apparently, if you change a pub name, like you can do it, you can change a pub name, but it's really bad juju. Like, that's when you get cursed.
Ah, do you know any cursed pubs? What happens with a cursed pub?
Well, do you know what? The Devonshire, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Because
Your
that,
favourite place?
That was a pub, fuck you. That was a pub 1749, and then it wasn't a pub, it was like a James Italian, a cockbull.
Yeah.
And then, so they obviously could rename it.
If Jamie Oliver takes over in between, then you don't have the bad juju.
Then it sort of resets it.
Yeah.
Would you say you're a foodie?
No, absolutely not, which is actually I'm surprised why you invited me here. I eat to live. It's fuel. My favourite restaurant in London is Crazy for Pasta. Now, Crazy for Pasta is a little pasta restaurant within a coffee shop in Fulham, which is called Crazy for Coffee. They're great at branding. Right. And your face. I found it in lockdown, and it's just great.
Crazy for Pasta
Crazy
survived
for Pasta.
lockdown, did it?
Yeah, it did.
Well, can't wait for your best of.
Yeah, no,
best of
absolutely.
London interview.
I've had, to give you an idea of like my level of food, I have had mayo with a chicken chow mein before.
Oh my God. What's the best restaurant you've ever eaten? Where do you love the most?
I mean, if you were going to go fancy, I went to Bone and Marrow in Copenhagen, which was like a tasting menu, and they like bring it out and they tell you all of the stuff.
But what do you want to say? Because you don't want to say that.
I can just feel the judgment from you.
No, I heard you had a bit of an unpopular opinion of best restaurant in the world. I've read somewhere that you think that Pizza Express is the best restaurant in the world.
Yeah, it is. But I know that everyone says Pizza Express on it. It's like the meme. Well, I know. Didn't
best restaurant? I don't think anyone has ever said that Pizza Express is the best restaurant in the world.
I will get the same enjoyment as going to Pizza Express as I will to The Alchemist in Copenhagen.
The Alchemist is a 2-star restaurant that like
It's
delivers you food in like a theatrical way that no one else in the world is doing.
But they don't have dough balls. There's also an element of nostalgia with Pizza Express that you don't get with The Alchemist, of course. I didn't have birthday parties at The Alchemist when I was...
Nostalgia can get in the bin with The Alchemist.
What's your favourite restaurant? The Devonshire.
No, shut up. In the world, in the whole world.
In the entire world.
In the whole world, the best I've ever eaten in. Inisheer, in Wales.
The thing is, I genuinely thought about coming onto this show and just making up restaurant names and to say that they were my favourite.
Jamie Oliver did that.
Did he?
He got us so good. Most overrated in London.
Do I have to do this one?
Well, yeah.
Don Bastiano, everyone was talking about it. I personally thought it was overpriced.
It doesn't exist.
That's a classy touch from Jamie Oliver there, I think.
So good.
It was clever. That was the first time it's ever been done.
That is clever.
With your videos, you have been in many like weird and wonderful situations.
Yeah.
What's been the most uncomfortable?
I inadvertently leaked my own nudes onto the internet. I spent the day with naturists.
First time you do it, you maybe feel uncomfortable, but after that, the freedom it brings is phenomenal.
I edited the video myself, as you can imagine, and went through the video frame by frame, just making sure that all the right things were blurred. I posted the video. I saw a comment being like, lol, missed a spot at 7:08. I was like, oh, I saw a comment being like, oh yeah, they're just trying to get me to click on it.
Yeah.
Shut up. And I'd forgotten that there was a greenhouse in the shot and it was reflecting off the greenhouse. And so I then just completely leaked my own news. So that was pretty uncomfortable, putting my cock and balls on the internet.
Can I interest you in a marriage opportunity?
I married a stranger. Like, I literally walked outside of like St. Paul's Cathedral and I just said, hey, who wants to marry me? I had a registrar and a divorce lawyer there because I wanted the world's shortest marriage.
And what was the person like who agreed to do that?
She was engaged. to someone else, and she called up her fiance, and he was like, yeah, fine.
Did she know who?
So she was like,
Right.
oh, my fiance watches you. Yeah, okay, I'll get married to you.
What would a selfie not do?
Exactly. And then I had a divorce lawyer to make it null and void there and then. The other time was I married a man who was directly descended from Mary Queen of Scots. I then was going to get the marriage annulled, but I realised you can't get annulments for gay marriages. I didn't tell him this. Until like a year later, I was like, oh, by the way, like...
You're still married?
No, I just said, oh, that there was some like weird things with the paperwork. Can I send it to you again and we can sign? He was like, yeah, sure.
Never played the GGG?
No, Triple G.
The Great Game. Why do all these games are tongue twisters? The Great Grape Game.
Is that how many grapes you can stuff in your mouth?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. So you have played it?
So it's Chubby Bunny, but with...
The Great Grape Game?
with grapes.
Great.
I'd love to play the Great Grape Game.
Cool. I reckon you're going to be quite good at this because you're quite gobby.
I do have quite a bad gag reflex. So
That's for later.
This is...
Okay, so let's load up.
Okay.
Go red first.
Go. 2, 3,
God, I've already filmed my cheeks.
5.
Oh my God.
Oh, actually, here we go. 7.
Go into the bowl and we'll count them. That, I can't.
It's like cobwebs.
He's a very flamboyant man. Oh, that looked like you were cracking an egg.
I don't want to do this. I beat you fair and square.
You did.
4.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. What's your earliest memory of being in a pub?
Probably 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah.
And
Legend.
it was the Cadogan Arms. I was 8 or 9, and they were showing the Champions. It was a Champions League match. We didn't have Sky at home. I just snuck in the back and watched this game in a pub. And I was like, what is this place? This is amazing.
So you went to Harrow?
I went to Harrow, yeah.
Harrow School is a prestigious independent boarding school for boys located in Harrow on the Hill, London. Notable alumni include Winston Churchill and Benedict Cumberbatch.
I went to a posh school, but it was not as posh as Harrow. Right. Nowhere near.
Yeah. They provided us Fosters to drink.
What?
Yeah.
Fosters?
Yeah. To stop the boys getting plastered at school, they would provide to every sixth former, I think 1 or 2 beers every weekend. I would just hoard all the Fosters. We'd just have a massive rager with Toby and the boys. I told the story in a podcast before and the comments absolutely destroyed me. So.
Yeah, honestly, when you just said that, I was like,
yeah, it's like, that's not keeping it in.
Wait, also, when you did that posh voice, it was about 10% on top of your voice.
It didn't really make a difference.
You just slightly turn the heat up.
Yeah. So,
What's the really weird posh things that Harrow do?
have you heard of a game called Soggy Biscuit? No. No. I've never played that. Don't Google Soggy Biscuit.
Does this have a name, or we're going to call it just like...
It's just the coaster game. Nice.
Nice.
Another 5.
Another 5?
Yeah. Let's not pick around.
How has your world tour gone?
I've done the UK, I've done US, I've done Europe. I'm going to Australia in March, and then I am done. The worst show? Oh yeah, I'll tell you.
So I want to know... Well, yeah, I want to know that.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that.
Go on, tell me.
It was very it was the first time I toured and gigged in other countries, and so we didn't really know how many seats we would sell. In Europe, we were doing like 500, 600 seats, and we sold really well there. We sold out there, but in the US, we were doing 1,500 to 2,000 seats. We get to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It is a 1,500 seater venue. We had sold 112 tickets.
That's nightmares.
The worst thing about it was that the tickets, it was unassigned seating. So people could sit wherever they wanted. I walked out, and because of the lights, I could only see the first 3 or 4 rows. I could see 4 people. There's one way to kind of break the ice here. I said, thank you so much for coming to my sold out show here in Fort Lauderdale. The Americans don't understand sarcasm. So suddenly all of these people were looking around and be like, oh my God, what happened to everybody else?
What was the biggest audience?
Biggest audience was in London. Hammersmith the Pole, 3,500, baby.
Wow.
I performed with Magic Mike. I got Magic Mike on stage. I stripped with Magic Mike on stage at the Apollo. Because I did a video where I got revenge at my mates who told me I had a terrible body by performing with Magic Mike to just his mum. I mean, if you haven't stripped with Magic Mike at the Hammersmith Apollo, what are you really doing?
Yeah. Everyone should do it once.
Yeah.
You know? Don't knock it till you've tried it.
Don't knock it till you've tried it, exactly.
I shouldn't throw this around lightly.
Yeah.
I do think this is the best Scotch egg. Fried chicken.
Yeah.
Lamb ribs.
Yeah. Do you know what's funny? I haven't eaten an egg since I was 5 years old. And because I when I had it when I was 5, I was like, I don't like it. And I've always said I don't like eggs.
Right.
But to be honest, that is a pathetic
Yeah.
point of view to have because I haven't had one since.
A bit like the Pizza Express.
A bit like Pizza Express.
This has got black pudding in the outside of it and a house-made brown sauce.
Oh, we're getting stuck
So
in with
well, I
that
just
first.
thought would quite like to watch you have your first egg in 24 years. You went no sauce. Quite a big mouthful though.
It's very nice, thank you, sir. Okay. Lamb ribs. I've never had lamb ribs before. That's really nice. It's giving crackling, but it's also the lamminess is really coming through.
You did hospital radio for 4 years.
Good, yeah. Radio Tyneside.
Does anyone listen to that?
I would always ask the station manager how many people were listening, and I'd never get an answer, which is probably a good reflection on how many people did listen.
He's like, well, we're here.
Yeah, exactly. I nearly got fired from hospital radio because I played the song Highway to Hell by AC/DC. I got a call early in the morning from the station manager asking me to come in. And my argument was that it was in the system. It was all I did was just drag and drop a song that was already there.
Right.
And he said it was incredibly insensitive and he had complaints. That's how bad.
At least you know people are listening.
Exactly, that's how bad it's got to be that someone who's in hospital is they're thinking no. They've got other things going on. They're like, no, I simply must complain about Highway to Hell being played.
Can we have some trash talk, please?
Yeah.
You're fucking shit.
Someone called Batty's dogs and cats home because he used to be put down. That's a bit aggressive. No, let's do it again.
I caught my first time,
You
right?
did,
So
well
I'm
done.
done. Fuck, this is a lot, actually.
Should we go first?
15. We like to do this thing sometimes when we feel comfortable enough.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah, fine.
Yeah. What's your French kissing like? Can I look at your phone, please?
Yeah.
I want to see what you've been Googling. Can you find truffles in the UK?
I saw a TikTok of a guy who trained his Jack Russell to find truffles in the woods. I was like,
Right.
You can find truffles in the UK. I thought it was specifically just an Italian thing, but no, apparently you can find them in
Yeah, you can
Worcester.
Yeah. Iron Man watches. How's your training going?
That was me cheating in the family quiz at Christmas.
Oh, really?
Because they asked apparently there was a crap question. It was like, what brand is the supplier of Iron Man watches? It's like, who knows that? It's Timex. It's Timex. Not sponsored.
I can't imagine anyone else has ever Googled getting a tank from Land's End to John O'Groats.
That is a video idea I want to do. I want to do a road trip where we take tanks from Land's End to John O'Groats. Issues. Number 1, they only go 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Number 2, they drink, they absolutely hoon petrol, so it's incredibly
It's like
expensive.
down to the mile rather than miles to go.
It would, because it would take probably about 10 days to do and would cost upwards of about £80,000. So that's what I found out from that Google.
Sophie Haboo, Newcastle. Sophie Haboo, age. Sophie Haboo, everything you need to know.
I saw an interview where she was talking about that she was at Newcastle. We overlapped by 1 year, but I didn't know her.
Right.
So that's why I'm
Everything-
furiously Googling Sophie
Everything you need to know. That's Sophie Haboo. You, me, bum train. What's
That is not a sexy thing. There's a theatre company called Yumi Bum Up Train. That makes it sound like I've made that up, but I promise you I haven't.
Oh, honeys.
No. And men.
It's just a lot of weird stuff.
Golf. Walking.
So, what's next, Max Fosh?
Well, Jessica, I am going on tour in Australia in March. Back to the YouTube vids. I want to do things like tank road trip. I'm turning 30 this year, so I want to have a reunion with the babies that were born in the same hospital on the same day as me. If you were born on the 3rd of April 1995 at St Thomas's Hospital in Westminster, give me a bell. I've actually set up an email. The email is areyouMyBaby1@gmail.com. Ultimately, going for a pint with Jesse from TOPJAW and Will.
Oh, thanks.
Hey! Are you good at downing pints?
Not really.